What a year it's already starting out with terrorists attacking us all over the country. I think these are terror cells that have to live within our country because people are saying that there's an ISIS flag that was found in one of the cars. So let me just get right to it. The new year has opened with heartbreaking news after 10 people were killed and at least another 35 were injured when a pickup truck drove into a crowd on Bourbon Street. Now, the New Orleans Police Department Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick detailed horrific events, stating that the assailant drove around the barricades and surged down Bourbon Street. Now, if you've never been to New Orleans, you've never been down, there for Mardi Gras stuff, Bourbon Street is heavily attended by people in the surrounding areas and tourists who come to get beads and stuff thrown at them. Well, New Year's, I mean, just like New York City and Times Square, people fill the streets. Well, this person drove down the street in very intentional behavior before opening fire on responding officers. Now, 2 officers were shot, but are reported to be in stable condition. The FBI has identified, and this is the part that I don't like to say, because he's black. And every time some terrorist shit happens, I ain't gonna lie, no shade to white folks. We're always happy and relieved that it ain't one of us. Well, this one, we gonna own this one. His name is Shamsuddin Jabbar, a 42-year-old U.S. Army veteran. He was the driver of the vehicle using the attack. Let me show you a photo of Shamsud. Okay, this is him. Well, Jabbar's last known address was traced back to a white mobile home. Well, maybe he was white. All the way back in Houston, Texas, even though he was from Beaumont, because I did just see a video before I came into the show. Well, the FBI also reported that an Islamic State group ISIS flag was recovered from the trailer hitch on the pickup truck, which officials said he rented it from Turo. Now, both President Joe Biden and President-elect Donald Trump addressed the nation. Let me let you hear what Joey had to say.
I know I can speak for all Americans when I say our hearts are with the people of New Orleans after the despicable attack that occurred in the early morning hours. To all the families of those who were killed, to all those who were injured, to all the people of New Orleans who are grieving today, I want you to know I grieve with you. Our nation grieves with you. We're going to stand with you as you mourn and as you heal in the weeks to come. I want to thank our brave first responders and law enforcement personnel who stopped the attacker in his tracks before he could kill or injure even more people. And I want to thank you to everyone at the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, including the FBI, for working nonstop to investigate this heinous act. The FBI is leading the investigation to determine what happened, why it happened, and whether there was any continuing threat to public safety. Here's what we know so far. The FBI has reported to me the killer was an American citizen, born in Texas. He served in the United States Army on active duty for many years. He also served in the Army Reserve until a few years ago. The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill. The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack. Possible explosives were found in the vehicle as well, and more explosives were found nearby. The situation is very fluid, and the investigation has a preliminary stage. And the fact is that right now, there you go. The law enforcement and intelligence community are continuing to look for any connections, associations, or co-conspirators. We have nothing additional to report at this time. The investigation is continuing to be active, and no one should jump to conclusions. I've directed my Attorney General, the FBI Director, the Secretary of Homeland Security, the head of the National Counterterrorism Center, and the intelligence community to work on this intensively until we have a full and complete information. And once we have that information, I will share that information as soon as we can confirm it. Additionally, we're tracking the explosion of a cyber truck outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. Law enforcement and the intelligence community are investigating this as well, including whether there's any possible connection with the attack in New Orleans. Thus far, there's nothing to report on that score at this time. I directed my team to make sure every resource is made available to federal, state, and local law enforcement to complete the investigation in New Orleans quickly and to make sure there is no remaining threat to the American people. And we'll support the people of New Orleans as they begin the hard work of healing. New Orleans is a place unlike any other place in the world. It's a city full of charm and joy. So many people around the world love New Orleans because of its history, its culture, and above all, its people. So I know, while this person committed a terrible assault on the city, the spirit of our New Orleans will never, never, never be defeated. It always will shine forth. We've seen that time and time again throughout its history, and I know we'll see it again in the days and weeks ahead. May God bless the people of New Orleans. May God bless our police and our first responders. May God protect our troops, and we'll keep you fully contemporaneously informed. Thank you.
Joe is tired. He is ready to get out of office. He's tired, you know. And so, Joe, thank you, President Biden. Thank you for your service, and thank you for getting up there one more time to give a speech. But you can go ahead and just lay down for the rest of the presidency. Well, in Las Vegas, one person is dead after a Tesla Cybertruck exploded at the entrance of a Trump hotel and casino, also on New Year's Day. Now, Las Vegas Sheriff Kevin McMill said a vehicle fire was reported after 8:40 a.m. on Wednesday. Emergency crews arrived to find a 2024 Tesla Cybertruck, which is owned by Elon Musk, who's the president of the United States. Anyway, it was engulfed in flames and there was one person dead inside the truck. Take a look at the burned truck. Okay. This thing exploded right in front of this hotel. I have stayed at this hotel. It is right across the street from Macy's and the Fashion Show Mall. The worst beds in history, by the way. Now, I'm not saying this because it's owned by Donald Trump. I'm just saying Donald Trump, when it comes to being a hotelier, you're fired. It's a horrible, horrible hotel. Worst bed, hardest bed, worst room service. Everybody that works there is white, even the housekeepers. At least at that, I'll just say,
allegedly,
because I don't want to get sued. I didn't see anybody of color. Maybe that was intentional. Either way, they said the guy apparently, allegedly, shot himself in the head right before he blew up the truck. The truck got there. 17 seconds later, it blew up. There was a guy standing outside with his luggage. Anyhow, authorities also reported that fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel were connected to a detonation system controlled by the driver. So at least 7 other individuals sustained minor injuries as a result of the explosion. Now, subsequent investigators are now determining if there is any connection between the Las Vegas explosion and the truck rampage that happened in New Orleans. Both are former military people. There's that. One is white, one is not white. The Tesla Cybertruck was also rented from Turo. Remember, there was a time during September 11th where we saw coordinated planes all happen at the same time by the same group of people. I'm not saying there's a reason to be alarmed, but could be, and could be another one coming at some point because we know that this keeps happening. When you see it, do you think that, hey, Donald Trump is welcoming this type of activity? Are we going to blame Trump? Is the truck, the Elon truck in front of the Trump hotel, a symbol because that's clearly a message? Or are we just like overreaching and overreacting?
No, I think it was definitely intentional to park a Cybertruck from Tesla in front of a Trump hotel and blow it up. That was definitely intentional. But I do think that there is some validity to concern that there could be like a potential for like terrorist organizations to ramp up attacks on America because we're so divided right now. We're not focused on, you know, the bigger picture. We're focused on like attacking people internally, like Liz Cheney and Hillary Clinton and Hunter Biden. Like, I think our focus needs to remain where it should be, which is to protect American people from any outside foreign influences that could be of a danger to us. Like, that should be, the FBI director just stepped down ahead of his 10-year term.
3 years ahead.
Traditionally doesn't happen. So it's like we're making all of these steps in the wrong direction, I think.
Well, I'll tell you too, it's so unpredictable now where it could happen. That guy who was waiting out, because I always think like, I wouldn't have got caught slipping there. That guy was waiting outside with his luggage probably for a car because the Uber stand is, the taxi stand and Ubers are literally right there outside of the camera's view. So you really never know when it's going to happen. But that's why I'm telling you right now, people be like, yo, let's pop out, let's be outside. If I don't have to be outside, I'm not outside. Because outside right now is dangerous. It's unpredictable. People are angry. And you know the other thing they're doing? They're hugging I am not a hugger. People have hugged me to death this last couple weeks. I don't want to be hugged and touched. And I don't and for various reasons, like not knowing people's unpredictability. When people put their arm around your neck, or people walk up on you and they got their hands in their pockets, I don't be knowing what's going on. And we do live in a time that's very unpredictable right now. And the most disarming thing is thinking people are just coming in love or coming out of, whatever. When I look at it, I wonder what this next 4 years of energy is going to be in the country. Are we going to, because words have power. And when a president of the United States stands at a podium or goes on social media and says things to exacerbate hate or fuel hate around the world, this is the type of stuff that happens. And you have to remember, there are people in this country that may not be what you think a terrorist looks like, who actually hate America, hate what we stand for, hate the fact that whether we want to acknowledge it or not, we want to take every history book out of schools, has been a country built on rape, murder, and pillage. And it is what it is. So, like, yes, I'm proud to be an American, but like, we also need to be very clear about what that history looks like to other people. When you see what's happening, do you ever get concerned?
Yeah, it makes me not ever want to go out because on Bourbon, you know how many people there are, and they were all young kids. It's so scary. And between this and like the plane crashes, I just hope this does not set the tone for the new year.